Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Cuomo's political career in New York is pretty much done. He's pretty much done as the governor of New York. Best case scenario for him, he loses re-election next year. That's the best case scenario for him. He's already retained legal counsel because he has three people now leveling allegations against him. The most horrendous thing he's associated with is the thousands and thousands of lives. And I've told people this throughout the past year. I said, wait a second, New York and New Jersey, so maybe Phil Murphy is next. But I've been telling people, I said, there's something going on, and if you look at the reporting, because people barely, it was only the New York Post and some other, and conservative publications reporting on this. Okay, the Washington Post today just stated Andrew Cuomo, a longtime political bully, is receiving his comeuppance. That still isn't addressing. That still doesn't address what a Democratic politician, Ron Kim, has courageously addressed in going after New York's governor. Known for, and he faced not only political consequences, New York's governor, just like Biden's deputy press secretary, stated that he was going to go after any opposition, including the Democratic politician Ron Kim. So Democrats in New York were going after New York's governor. And New York's governor promised retribution, just like Biden's deputy press secretary who was forced to resign. Gee, what was that called when President Trump allegedly stated that he wanted loyalty from James Comey? You see the way they work? It's always like we were in a meeting and Trump promised loyalty, and I said I wouldn't because I'm Director Comey, and I would never give a loyalty to anything other than the Constitution. But Trump and his orange, the orange monster wanted loyalty. You see what happens when anyone, it could be Democrats, go up against another Democrat? All you know what breaks loose. He promised retribution and revenge against Ron Kim, just like using the same words as the Biden's deputy press secretary who was forced to resign for going after a Politico reporter. The Democratic Party runs on smoke and mirrors and 24/7 public relations. They went after Madison Caulfield. They found this is the same publication that published the Steele dossier. They found 36 people to corroborate. 36 people to corroborate allegations against him. You think that same publication is trying to find 36 people to corroborate the 3 people that New York's governor worked with? But hit subscribe to this channel right now. We're on our way back to 200,000 subscribers. Of course, I have my live streams in the evening, every evening now. This is the biggest story out there, and it's one of the moral foundations against Trump tanking. It took 1 month. It took 1 month for the Lincoln Project to completely and utterly implode. And Cuomo to just basically, he has to deal with the reality, the moral. You want to talk about the moral foundation against Trump. None of Trump's decisions directly impacted the lives of people living in states. Now, I know individuals who, because they despise Trump, twisted and contorted and had this absurd view of politics where the president directly impacted their lives because it was just happening. Okay? And I would explain to these people, because you don't want to debate anybody with Trump derangement. But unfortunately, I had to explain, the governor of your state has a lot more impact and influence on your life, your daily life, than the president does. unless it's a military quagmire. And oh, that's right, President Biden is continuing and fostering more conflict in terms of foreign relations and foreign affairs, with a just the same failed tactics that President Obama and Bush engaged in. He said, "Oh, we had to send a message." Well, why are we there? Why are we there? Oh, President Obama brought us there. We weren't there. We didn't have a presence there. It was until 2014. I wrote in The Hill. You could see the writing on hagoodman.com. My writing against counterinsurgency conflicts. That's the biggest moral conundrum and dilemma we face. Much more so than climate change. Climate change is of course an existential issue, but we have no clue when the planet's going to end. You put a whole bunch of nuclear countries in one location, in a powder keg, you could end the planet. But also, we owe American men and women better than just to send them off to never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts and say, when they're there, oh, okay, we have to conduct these, we have to conduct this foreign policy to send a message to people who are we put them in harm's way, and then we say, oh, well, we're protecting them from harm. It's like, don't put them in harm's way. There's no reason to be there. We have no direct national interest in stationing Americans there for 20 years. And anyway, so that's Biden's foreign policy. I'm trying to speak in an algorithmically friendly manner, because you know how it is nowadays. But I've been saying this, and I've been talking about this, and Andrew Cuomo, he ran New York in the same manner his brother did his job at CNN. They are propped up by an entire machine. New York's governor has a book. Now, this is a testament to the ignorance and the groupthink and the cult mentality on the left. He has a book on leadership lessons. What kind of person bought that book and said, God, the epicenter, like, God bless the people of New York and New Jersey. They deserve better than Cuomo and Murphy as governors in the past couple years. But what kind of person says, gosh, he really did well. He really did well during this pandemic. New York and New Jersey have the highest, not only unemployment rates, so go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They have the highest unemployment rates. So they lead the country in terms of unemployment rates. They're in the top 5 or 6. And they were at like the 1 and 2 throughout the past 6-7 months. But they lead the country in unemployment rates, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and according to the New York Times' own reporting and facts. Remember when they were like, oh, Trump, he lies so much. Like, nobody lied. Nobody lied more than Democrats. Nobody. And you see what's going on right now. The chickens are coming home to roost. You reap what you sow. I can go on forever. But they had the worst outcomes in terms of aggregate lives lost. New York leads the country. And in March, it's almost a year to the day. I think it is a year to the day. Like yesterday was the anniversary. Notice that they don't talk about the anniversary of Cuomo tweeting out, the risk remains low for the people of New York. There's no reason for undue anxiety. Now, if you actually debate, don't ever do it. Like, I don't have Twitter. Do not, like, if you have, don't go on, I say delete your social media, delete your Twitter, delete your Facebook, okay? But if you had to debate somebody and you explain to them, hey, they say, well, Trump mitigated, he downplayed. See, with Trump, they have to level the most vague and broad accusations. He downplayed. It's all sentiment. Well, they took it seriously, whereas Trump downplayed it. Well, they took it seriously. So it's all, every accusation against Trump is they've turned democracy into a euphemism for the Democratic Party. Oh, he's going to end democracy. He's going to end what they mean is that he's going to end their political party. And so you look, I lost track of where I'm going. you look, they had the worst outcomes in terms of aggregate lives lost, and they're the highest in terms of per capita rates. So you can't say, well, they're just a big metropolis, and they also have the highest per capita rates. New York and New Jersey have the highest per capita rates in the country. They're like within the top 5. And I think New York is within the top 3. Or number 1, I think. So you can't say that, well, they're just a big state. Well, so is Florida, and they're doing so much better. Texas is doing better, but Florida is doing infinitely better. How does that work? Oh, that's right. Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis should have had all the accolades, not Cuomo, but he's a Trump Republican. So there you go. But how do you get the highest per capita rates, and in terms of aggregate lives lost, the greatest number of lives lost, the highest unemployment rates, and you write a book, and you win awards? But that's the left. If they run on smoke and mirrors, they prop you up. It's like it's like a pitcher that gets to the World Series with a 5.35 ERA, or like a quarterback that gets to the Super Bowl with throwing 3 interceptions a game. But he happens to throw 2 touchdowns, so they say, "Oh wow, he's really so good." It's like, no, what? How is he even at the championship level? Well, everyone around him is a Hall of Fame defense, offensive line, coach. They prop up people who don't deserve the accolades they receive. New York's governor is the prime example. They prop up, and look at his brother on CNN. Gets the pandemic, promptly, doesn't social distance, and reportedly doesn't social distance, gets into an argument with somebody who calls him out. I mean, they're the biggest hypocrites on the planet, my God. You can't even, these people pontificate, and then when they get caught, they say, well, there's no evidence. But when they just yell at the top of their lungs, say, well, you have to resign, any accusations, a resignation, you have to resign, da-da-da. It's like, you're talking about the most hypocritical people. These are the televangelists of this day and age, of our generation. The televangelists of our generation. And we see what's taking place now. We see what's taking place. So, hit subscribe to this channel. I'll be back later in this evening. But Trump is presiding over a political triumph. He doesn't have to do anything. Cuomo is one of the most outspoken critics of Trump. Okay? Like, if you oppose Trump because of his personality and not because of his policies, I'm not even going to get into the words, but the shot in the arm we're getting, they said that couldn't happen in Trump's administration. It did. Everything that President Biden is presiding over in terms of some a good, that happened because of Trump's administration. So don't get it twisted in your brain if you devote your life to disparaging Trump. Just remember, you're getting that shot in the arm because of Trump. And it's what they managed to do is, in terms of public relations, they were successful in erasing his accomplishments. And President Trump fed into that and fell into that. He fell into the trap. He fell into the trap of just, trying to use his personality to galvanize electricity, passion, support among voters. But people were always going to vote for President Trump because of his accomplishments. He didn't have to. What Democrats were able to do is prop up, and what they did to Trump in terms of public relations, they did to the opposite for people like the Lincoln Project, who are now completely disgraced, and Andrew Cuomo. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be back in a couple of hours. Be here tonight for the live stream. Thank you. Cuomo's done in New York. He's not going to. He's either going to be impeached or resign, or best case scenario, he'll lose politically. When the Washington Post has jettisoned you as a Democrat, you're done. Give me your thoughts.